All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Sunday night. Another edition of Knicks Weekly, episode 53. And on tonight's show, we will recap the week that was for the Orange and Blue. 0-3. The Knicks are sliding. How do they bounce back? We're going to talk about that tonight. Plus, the Mavericks are sliding. The Mavs tank is on a free fall. We're going to talk about why that could hurt the Knicks draft this year. Stay tuned on that. Jeff Van Gundy talks Julius Randle. We're going to get into that. Plus, the winner of the authentic Jalen Brunson jersey giveaway celebrating 60K for KnicksFanTV will be revealed tonight. So you're going to want to stay to the end of the show to find out if you won, man. Knicks Weekly presented by Manscaped. Episode 53. CP the Fanchise Alex Trataros, the Stratocaster on the ones and twos. Lock in. Salute to our channel members. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Hit that share button. And hit that subscribe button. Al, how you feeling, man? How was your weekend, bro?
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. Could have been better.
Yeah.
Most of my Friday was spent in the vet from 5 p.m.
Ooh.
until 1 a.m.
Damn. What happened, bro?
So my little cat, she decided to eat a skewer. Just bite up into pieces. She decided to eat a skewer.
A wooden one.
A wooden one, because it was in a sandwich, had some chicken flavor on it, and she ate it.
Oh,
so then,
wow.
So then we rush her to the ER, right? We're there. We're in the ER. We're waiting. We're sitting around. Doctor comes out within an hour, or the vet, whatever you want to call them. Do the x-rays, whatnot. They don't find any skewer in there. But they said we have to now do an endoscopy in order to see if it's in there. So you already know where this vet bill's going.
Yeah.
So they do that. We get the text 2 to 3 hours later saying, hey, it's no skewer, but your cat ate 9.
Ooh.
I repeat, 9 hair scrunchies.
Oh, man.
So they remove all 9 hair scrunchies successfully.
Yeah.
And I don't get home and get to sleep until 1 a.m. And then we have to go back at 4 a.m. because this cat is now sounds like she can't breathe properly. And they're like, no. It's this is just what happens after this. So just give it a couple days.
Yeah.
So the cat's now starting to do better. My sleep cycle's messed up. But hey, man, that's my weekend.
All for the love of the game, my man. Damn. That
How was your weekend,
man? Weekend was good, man. I was down in Austin, Texas. I was down in Austin, Texas, for homie's bachelor party, man. So I was out there doing the damn thing with the homies, man. Haven't caught up with them for a little while. So
nice.
It was nice. It was nice to explore. I've never been to Austin before. I'm always in H-Town, or I used to be, rather. So it was a new area of Texas to explore. It was nice. Nice. Little college town, a lot of bars and restaurants and whatnot. A lot of food trucks. The food was good.
Okay.
Yeah, got some good barbecue as well.
Nice.
So it was good. Yeah, weather was good. Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Nice.
So shout out to Austin and anyone who's down there, lived there, went to college there, whatever the case may be. So anyway, back to these Knicks, man. Back to these Knicks. 0-3 this past week. You saw the Julius Randle 57-point eruption in Madison Square Garden, only to see the Knicks lose that game to the Timberwolves without Anthony Edwards, without Karl Anthony Towns, giving up 58% from downtown. Then they head into Miami for a showdown with the Heat, a game with Eastern Conference seeding on the line, and they put up another dud, man, and once again give up 58% from downtown. On a back-to-back night going into Orlando, they lose Jalen Brunson to a sprained hand. You have the Randle incident. And they give up 36 points in the fourth quarter to the Orlando Magic. Are you concerned at this moment in time?
When we don't have Jalen Brunson, yes, I am. As I said on the post-game show with Chris, I'm starting to get a little concerned. When I walk it back inside, I'm still outside.
Okay. All right.
I'm still outside.
All right.
Just know that.
Okay.
But I am starting to get slightly concerned.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that. But it all depends on the health of Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's healthy, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But if we got to keep struggling without Jalen Brunson, or keep trucking along, I should say, without Jalen Brunson, then things are going to start to get cold pretty quickly.
So you're saying there is a chance you may come back inside. I mean, I'll leave the door open for you, bro. Like, you're my guy, bro. I'm not going to leave you out.
I'm telling you, man, it all depends on the health of Jalen Brunson right now. But if Jalen Brunson's healthy, still outside, man, still chilling.
Yeah. What about you guys in the chat, man? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not concerned, 5 being very concerned, how you guys feel, man? 3-game losing streak. They're still in fifth place in the East. And we'll talk about the playoff seeding. I think for me, a couple of things. Yes, the Brunson injury is concerning. Both the foot and now it's a hand injury. Now the Knicks are saying that he's questionable for Monday's game against the Rockets. So we'll see if he comes back there. But his health is critical to the success of this team. Stevie Wonder could see it. His health is critical to the success of this team going into the postseason. 3 weeks left until playoff time, and they need to make sure that he is as close to 100%. Now, around this time, everybody's banged up. Everybody's got some nicks. But, like I said, between the foot and now the hand, it's going to be interesting to see, do they rest him on Monday against the Rockets to get him ready for the Heat and a big matchup against the Cavs? Does he come back on Monday against the Rockets at home? Because his absence, I think obviously it puts more on everybody. Puts more on Julius, puts more on RJ, puts more on IQ to deliver. They've had some struggles there, and he's a big part of what they do. Now, the defense has to tighten up. No question about it. They gave up 58% from 3. I think those are more aberrations than the norm, right? You have to expect things will come back to the mean a little bit, but they still have to tighten up defensively, especially their 3-point defense. For sure. It still has to tighten up. But if you look at you look at the Heat and the Timberwolves, 2 of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league, to me, those are kind of outliers. I don't expect that to be the norm, but nevertheless, they need to tighten up. And you're giving up 36 points in the fourth quarter to the Magic. You can't have that. So am I concerned 1 to 5? I'd say a 3. I'm about halfway. I think teams go through their lulls, man. Teams go through their rough spots. They go through those tough stretches. Maybe they are looking ahead to the playoffs and kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit after getting back from the West Coast trip. They did have a great game against the Nuggets. The week before that, they did have a great win against the Nuggets, but seem to have let go of things a little bit, so they got to tighten up.
Yeah, and look, they came back against the Trailblazers when they were down too, so that was in the same week, right? And they beat the Lakers. They went on a 3-game winning streak. Now they went on go back on a 3-game losing streak when they just had one prior to their 3-game winning streak, right? And these teams go up and down in performances. I'm at probably a 2.5.
Okay,
am I concerned? But like you said, teams go through their ups and downs. They can easily right the ship, get back on a winning streak as long as they beat the Houston Rockets. But my concern is that when you don't have Jalen Brunson, I expect everyone to pick it back up. And we've seen them do that throughout this entire season. When Jalen Brunson misses an entire game, this team is 5-5. It's a mixed bag, 5-5, but they've been 5-5. If you include the Kings game, they're 5-6.
Yeah.
All right. Because he played half, missed the second half, they're 5-6. I want to see this team more composed and continue to play the same style of basketball when he's on the court. Now, that's a big ask. I'm not asking someone to go out there and be Jalen Brunson. Mm-hmm. That would be Emmanuel quickly. But I'm looking for him to do similar things, which is get into the teeth of the defense, facilitate well, and knock down timely shots. And then I also expect everyone else to rise their game when they don't have their number one option out there. That means RJ Barrett. Grimes did that the last 2 games. But the guy who I'm looking at, first and foremost, when Brunson goes down, is Julius Randle. And seeing him lose it, I get it, man. You're not getting calls. Some of these are blatant calls that you should have gotten, like being hit in the air, all that type of stuff. You're not getting them. You still get to the line most of the time, though, throughout the regular season. You're still up there. But it comes down to the composure and just how do you communicate with the refs? I said this on the postgame show. No one wants to hear someone barking at you. All right. No one wants someone in your face. Like if I start getting into your face, like, yo, man, what are you doing? You're like, yo, man, I don't want to talk to you right now. Why are you coming at me hostile? You got to learn to talk to the refs, like put the arm around them, like, hey, man, what's going on here? Why am I not getting this foul? You know what I mean? Just be a little more pleasant when you're talking to a ref. That's a skill that he's got to learn. All right. But the other thing is just being composed because you're going to need him in the playoffs.
Yeah. You hit it on the head. They are going to need him in the playoffs. But they've been a resilient group. And that's why I'm not overly concerned. It is a 3-game rut, but they've shown over this whole season that when they get into these little holes, they find a way to dig themselves out. Now, Stefan Bondi of the Daily News says that Jalen Brunson practiced in full today. So, looks like he should be ready to go against the Rockets. He did practice in full. Wasn't available for the media. Neither was Julius Randle, but they said that he did go through practice today. Yep.
Do you want Brunson to play tomorrow, or would you rather have another day of rest to finish off the season?
Look, I would say I would love another day of rest, but they, as you see with what happened against Minnesota, they can't afford it. they cannot afford it. I think they need as much goodwill, or they need to start feeling good about themselves. I don't think they could afford it. They're only 2 games up on the Heat and the Nets for that 5th spot. You can't look past any opponent. Minnesota came into the Garden last week and embarrassed them without their top guys. Houston's a young team, young scrappers. They got nothing to lose. You got to figure that they'll be competitive. I think they got to play him. If he's able to go, they need him. They got to get wins because then now you have a big test Wednesday again, the final matchup of the regular season against the Miami Heat. That could be huge.
Don't forget Friday. That's Cleveland Cavaliers.
And then Friday, a potential playoff preview against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they have to play him, man.
Yeah, earlier today I was thinking I would like him to rest and get another day off just because this team should be able to defeat the Houston Rockets. But they should have done that against the Orlando Magic too, although that's a scrappy team. And I knew that going in. I knew that was not going to be an easy game because that team plays with a lot of pride.
Right.
And when you go back and look at the game earlier where they played Houston when they were without Brunson, when they were without RJ, you had some major performances from Julius. He dropped 35 points, got you 12 rebounds, 6 assists that game. Quickly had another major performance then too. He got 27 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. And you also got a big performance from Grimes, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Okay. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, could they replicate it again? And I don't even want to take that chance. The more and more I thought about today, I don't want to take that chance because you're now seeing Brooklyn lost today, right? Even though they beat Miami yesterday.
Yeah.
And the 5th seed is just, if you want that 5th seed, you need everyone out there playing to close off the season right now to make sure. And then you can get your rest from the 11th to the 15th from when the playoffs start in April.
Yeah. True indeed, man. It's going to be tough, but if he's ready to go, they're going to need him, man. They're definitely going to need him. Here was Tibbs on the state of the team and also a little bit on Julius Randle, man. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Here's Tibbs.
Yeah, it just right now, like our team is just we're out of sorts, and so you have to pull together when you go through rough times. And, you get into things together, you get out of things together. So it's just we have to do everything a lot better, and we have to be committed to doing it as a team. There's going to be ups and downs that we have to navigate. Everyone does, and we can't lose sight of what we're trying to get accomplished.
We don't see obviously what happens when you guys go in the locker room, but you guys smooth that over immediately, or?
Yeah, like you have to. There's emotion involved, so you want the emotion to get out of it, and then sometimes when you talk, it clears the air, so that's good. But you also don't want you allow for idiosyncrasies as long as it doesn't get in the way of winning. Nothing can get in the way of winning. That the team always has to come first, and so everyone's responsible for that.
All right, so that was Tibbs. It's just team's in a little bit of a rut right now, man. Just gotta dig their way out of it. And he spoke on the Julius situation. Says these things happen, but it can't get in the way of winning. Now, Tibbs' counterpart, the great Jeff Van Gundy, was interviewed by the New York Post on the Julius Randle situation, the meltdown in Orlando, with he and quickly getting into it. And here's what Jeff Van Gundy had to say. He says, emotion and passion lead to better play, but a lack of emotional control and poise lead to lesser play. To play well in the playoffs, to play well in hard-fought, highly contested, close games, ultimately you have to have your best players have a level of poise that leads them to be able to play through rough patches of games or a tough loss in the playoff series and to bounce back. Poise is so very critical to be able to handle late game pressurized situations. Your thoughts on that?
He ain't wrong. You need poise when it comes down to the playoffs, man. And there's been a lot of discourse on the whole Julius Randle thing, and I think a lot of it's getting confused on talking about what we're talking about, his talent, how do we feel about him as a person and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all getting thrown into one pot without it really being extracted, really put into some context. And the thing is that it comes down to this. He's got to maintain that energy that he's putting out there. It's not throwing it right back at your teammate. It's not throwing it back at the coaches. All right. It's not attacking the refs. You got to understand the moment. You're not trying to hurt your team. You cannot hurt your team. Every single point counts, especially when you're down. Every point's going to count in the playoffs. It's going to slow down. You're not going to get a lot of calls. And I think that what Van Gundy said and what even Hahn tweeted out and others have tweeted out, and even you said on SNY recently, it's that you got to channel that energy and put it right back on the court and punish your opponent. It's not losing it and being upset that you're not getting the call. How do you take that energy and throw it right back at your opponent? And that's what that's what great players do. And I he even had Patrick Ewing clips running around how he was yelling at teammates
Oh, it was
out
nonsense.
there on Twitter today.
Could we
And it's like,
stop doing that? Go ahead. I'll
It's
get to that.
I get what you're trying to say. Like, everyone does this. Yes, we get it. It is sports. Everyone does this. But you also give leeway to guys for how far they've taken you to and where they are in their careers.
Yeah.
Julius still has a lot to prove. This doesn't mean he's a bad player. This doesn't mean he doesn't have talent. But he has to be better about it because we even saw it earlier this year. It was against the Kings. He got thrown out. He got ejected. You can't put your team in a position where you could cost them the game.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks still won, but you just can't do that.
Yeah. I went on Begley's show, Ian Begley's show on Friday, and we talked about it. And this was essentially exactly what I was saying. And I caught a lot of heat for it, which is fine. But then what do you know? My coach, Jeff Van Gundy, comes out and validates everything. So don't take it from me. Take it from a coach who's coached in the game, who's coached in the trenches with some of the best to ever play. This is a simple point that I'm making, simple and plain. You got to have poise. Disagreements happen. Heated moments happen on benches. We've seen it all over the NBA. We see it in sports. It's part of life. You're going to get into it with people that you love. You're going to get into it with people that you're close with because you all want to achieve a common goal. It happens at work. It happens at life, right? But you got to have poise. You have to have poise in a big moment because you can't let these things, what we see with Julius a lot of times is that these things take him off of his game. He gets thrown off his square. And no, it didn't happen in the Orlando game, but it could happen in the playoffs. That's the only point. That is the only point. And then, these people on Twitter, whoever's throwing around the Patrick Ewing thing, that has to be a kid who doesn't understand who Patrick Ewing was. You know what I'm saying? Just because it happened in the 90s, these guys got into it. These guys also were able to play through adversity. They were also able to handle pressure. Don't compare him to Draymond Green. Draymond Green is a winner. He's won 4 championships. Like all these people that they were trying to compare Julius to, like he's not those people. The Warriors allowed Draymond Green's theatrics and antics because he's a superstar in his role. Not a superstar in the NBA, a superstar in his role in terms of how important he is to that team. So they allowed the theatrics. They allowed him to discipline himself after the Jordan Poole situation. Because they know who he is to that team and how important he is to that team. Because when it comes time to deliver, he's going to do so. I mean,
and I think that's the point right there.
Yeah.
Is that when you know what he has done.
Yeah.
You know what he's accomplished in the NBA. For Randle, he hasn't. And to be fair, it's honest to have, like, if you want to say that it brings back old memories because of last season when you start seeing him, get into a teammate's face, get all agitated, or just start to, like, lose it because we saw all that last season. And not saying, like, we really care, like, that it hurts us or impacts us personally. But when you see it all throughout last season and you see that this team underachieved last year and that when the pressure was on him the first time, when they went to the playoffs to play the Atlanta Hawks, you have some pause, and rightfully so. If you want to say, if someone wants to tell me saying, hey, I want to put that all behind it because that team wasn't better when they made the playoffs. I want to put it all behind it because for most of the season, he played well. He hasn't had that many outbursts, and it's only been a couple of times. And you say, I can give Julius a little bit more leeway going to the playoffs because I think he will perform, considering he doesn't have to be the only guy. I'll hear you on that. But I don't think it's so off base to have some concern because things that you cannot account for in the playoffs is health. And you see Jalen Brunson getting nicked up right now. And if he's healthy, I'm not going to be that concerned. But if he has to miss a game, right? And this is just like worst case scenario, I'm going to have some concerns because it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
You're not going to have another player out there that attracts double and triple teams, which makes it easier for Randle. That's my concerns, man.
Valid concerns, man. There was a lot of water carrying and it was just a lot of interesting takes on the whole thing on Friday. But either way, it is what it is. We'll see what happens going forward, and you hope he responds well. As we said, if we take a look at the Eastern Conference standings, salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. Let me just pull it up. Knicks are 42-33. 8 games remaining and 2 games up. 2 games up on the Nets. 2 games up on the Miami Heat with 8 games to go. An important game against the Miami Heat this Wednesday. How you feeling, man? Can they hold it? Can they hold on to number 5?
Can they hold on to number 5?
Mm-hmm.
I think they can. I'm confident that they can. If we get Brunson back, I'm not concerned, to be honest with you. I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll tighten it up. I think these 3 days off is much needed rest for this team to get back on track. I think losing 3 in a row is not sitting with the team well, considering how competitive these guys are. You got to have that your calendar circle for the Houston Rockets. You know that this is a young team. They're not well experienced. They're going through their own issues. Okay, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy one. This is the same team that shook Boston and beat them not too long ago. But you got to go in there prepared, play your best game, and compete. And if Brunson's there for that, I think he's going to steer that ship and just say, we're not losing this one.
Right.
So if he's back, I'm not concerned.
Yeah.
If he's out, I shouldn't be, but I am.
Yeah.
If he's out.
If he's back, they should be able to hold it down. As you said, they have Houston, then Miami, then Cleveland. The Miami-Cleveland games are going to be tough. Then home against Washington. That's always been a tough matchup for the Knicks. And then they finish on the road at Indiana, at New Orleans, and then home against Indiana. If we look at Miami's schedule, now all these strength of schedules are kind of around the same. Miami they're in Toronto, then they travel here to New York, So back-to-back road games for the Heat. Home against a reeling Dallas Mavericks team. At Detroit, at Philly, at Washington, and then finish versus Orlando. So Miami's schedule not too tough right now. You know, the Philly game, yes, the Toronto games will be tough, but Miami's got a little not easy schedule, but not too difficult either. Now, they did get worked by the Nets on Saturday by 29 points. We'll see how they rebound there. Let's take a look at the Nets' remaining schedule. They have Houston on Wednesday. Then Atlanta, Utah, Minnesota, Detroit, Orlando, Philly. So we'll see. Question is, which Nets team do you don't really know who this Nets team is, right? They'll win a couple, and then they just lost. What was it? 6 out of their last 7.
Today against, yeah, and they lost to Orlando.
They beat Miami by 29 points, and they lose to Orlando. You just don't know which Net team is going to show up, and will they be consistent? So it's got to be interesting, man. They're definitely going to be interesting. But I'm with you. I think if Brunson does play, I think we should be okay in terms of holding that down. Cleveland already clinched, number 4.
Mm-hmm.
But could number 3 be in their sights? They're only 2 games in back of Philadelphia for 3.
That's interesting to look at, because if you're the Knicks, if you want Cleveland, do you then care about getting 6?
Yeah, right.
If they go to 3.
Right. No, look, I think they're going to try to win every game.
Nah, you got to go out there and win. I don't like that. I don't like that cute game of like, oh, no, we're going to drop.
No.
Because sometimes that does not work.
No, not at all. So that is that in terms of the remaining schedules for those 3 teams. How about Quentin Grimes, Al? In what was a bad week for the Knicks, Quentin Grimes certainly had himself a good week. He only had 1 shot in the Minnesota game, which came in the second half of the game, but he started to get it popping. In Miami, 7 of 12 from the field, 6 of 10 from downtown, 22 points. Was nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter. Against Orlando, 10 of 18 from the field, 5 of 10 from downtown, 6 assists for Quentin Grimes, along with 3 steals, 25 points, man.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about the Grimes outburst this past week?
I love it. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
He's another guy, man. You're going to need it. And in his post game, he was just talking about being aggressive. You know, quickly just mentioned he's got to play his game to stay aggressive. And we haven't really seen that from Quentin Grimes the last couple of weeks, even the past couple of months. It seems like he's just been too tentative out there. He either decides to drive and then pass instead of looking to finish around the rim. He's not looking to put up the 3 when he has a clear open shot. He's looking to drive instead. He's just been in between in his own head. So it's nice to see him get back on track. But the question for me is, like, when Brunson comes back, because it's nice to see that without Brunson he can play well. He played well even with Brunson. It's just, will he get the minutes in the fourth quarter if he's going, which he did against Orlando. He did get the minutes. And I don't know if that was because Brunson wasn't there or because Tibbs was like, all right, he's playing well, I gotta use him anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's also, with Brunson back, is he going to still be able to find that rhythm? And I know he did so against Miami. I get that. Mm-hmm. But it just feels like with Josh Hart here, it's just too crowded. And it seems like it's a little difficult for him to get into some sort of rhythm. So I'm just wondering if that's, is this just like a one-time thing? Are we going to get him to get into some rhythm again? So I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, me too. Because with Brunson, Julius, and RJ, it's hard for Grimes to get his shots consistently. So you do wonder about the rhythm, even though it was there against in the Miami game. And then without Brunson, he typically, or like usually when Brunson or RJ aren't playing, he typically has more output. And then those usually lead to good things. So it was just great to see him get his shot going in those last 2 games. You hope it continues because they're going to need him. They're going to need him. And if they play a Cleveland team who is a great protector of the paint, they got 2 shot blockers, Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year candidate with Jared Allen, and they're going to try to keep this Knicks team out of the paint, which is the number one strength of this team. That means you're going to be out there on the perimeter, which means you're going to have to knock down shots. And so for Grimes, he's going to be a key. He's going to be a key for this team, man, in the playoffs. They're going to have to look for him. And not only for his shooting prowess, but his ability to, again, put the ball on the floor. And you just hope that he's able to make good decisions under duress when he's attacking the closeouts to keep the offense moving, because in the half court against this Cleveland team, it's not going to be easy, man. They're going to need him, and they're going to need his spacing and his ability to move without the ball and also keep the ball moving. I think Quentin Grimes is going to be a big piece if the Knicks are going to be successful in the postseason.
Yeah. And I think the last part that you said, the passing, he's a connector too, right? And I feel like we haven't really seen that because as much, I don't know if it's because he doesn't get enough shots up or it's because he's just been in between, but we haven't really seen him be that connector over the last couple of weeks either. And I wonder if that's just because he's just out of rhythm in his own head.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely left to be seen, man. But shout out to Q Dot activated. Shout out to Quentin Grimes, man. Let's take it back to the Tankathon now, because a couple weeks ago, we were looking at this thing gleefully.
Oh, yeah, we were jumping around. We were joyful.
We were jumping out the window saying, hey, look, the Knicks can make the playoffs, and on top of that, be sitting pretty in the draft. Well, not so fast, folks, because the Dallas Mavericks are reeling, absolutely reeling right now, having lost back-to-back games in Charlotte against the Dennis Smith Jr.-led Charlotte Hornets. The Mavericks are reeling right now. They've lost 4 in a row. And that Knicks pick, which is a top 10 protected pick from the Mavs, is now sitting at 10. At 10. Not only that, Al, Luka Doncic in Sunday's loss against the Hornets picked up his 16th technical foul.
Oh, wow.
And what does that mean? That means in their game, they play back-to-back games. They'll have a game on Monday against the Pacers. He won't be there.
It's crazy.
He will not be there. So there is a chance that this pick stays in the top 10 and does not convey. Now, what happens there? A lot of people asking what happens if the Knicks don't get that pick this year. It'll be top 10. It'll get rolled over to next year and be top 10 protected again. And if that pick does not convey, then it'll turn into 2 second-round picks in 2025. So this thing could go in the Knicks' favor and be, the 11th pick, the 12th pick, 13, or nothing at all, man. Nothing at all. What's your take?
Crazy. I feel like the Mavs can't let this happen, right? Just because you traded to get Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
And now you're going to tell me you have Kyrie Irving with Luka Doncic. And you're going to tell the superstar that you drafted, that you extended, we're going to tank. And we don't even know if Kyrie's going to stick around next season. And this is not even what you're doing. If you're showing Kyrie this product right now, why would he even want to stay? Now you're going to say, hey, if we get a top draft pick, he may be good as soon as he walks through those doors. Don't know, no idea. And this is the roster we got moving forward. That's crazy. I hope obviously for Knicks purposes, the Mavs can make the play-in, because then it's a better shot of getting out of the top 10.
Yeah.
But not liking where they are right now, man. Not liking where they are right now. Let's see. Did OKC win today? That's the bigger question. Did they win? They did win.
Mm-hmm.
OKC trying to gain some ground right now. They're a game up on the Dallas Mavericks, as well as the Lakers, even though they lost today. But you need one of those two teams to start falling and Dallas to start winning again, so that we can secure that pick.
Yeah, got to, man, got to. Dallas is 7-13 since they acquired Kyrie Irving. 6-9 when Irving actually plays.
What have they been since when they acquired Irving?
They're 7-13 since they picked up Kyrie. 6-9 when he actually plays, and 3-8 with both Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving in the starting lineup. 3-8. 3-8.
Wow.
So now now after Friday's loss against Charlotte, Luka Doncic came out and talked about he's going through personal issues, saying that the game is no longer fun. He used to be able to have fun out there. Now he's going through things. He's not having fun. He's not himself. Things are reeling over there in Dallas, man. Things are reeling over there. It's very interesting because we don't know what the personal thing is, and that's fine. But if you look at it, you have an organization. They're in trouble now. They are in trouble to keep this kid and keep him happy. The Porzingis thing didn't work. He got Porzingis up out of there. They lose Brunson, which is a big mistake. They get rid of their best defender and some of their good role players while they were in playoff contention for a blockbuster trade for Kyrie that is blowing up in their face. There's a great chance Kyrie doesn't stay there next year. And they don't know if they're going to have a pick. Their first round pick could be ours. Yeah, they're in a tough spot, man. They are in a tough spot.
If that happens, if Kyrie leaves and we get that pick, my goodness gracious. I will be laughing to kingdom come because I just remember the days of having Mark Cuban on ESPN and be like, how does it feel to swindle the Knicks? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, get cooked.
Yeah.
Get cooked.
What?
I don't even think, if I'm Luka, why am I staying? What have you done?
Right. What a disaster. What a disaster. And look, I think he's feeling the pressure and he's feeling that adversity now. He's 23 years old, bro. He's got the whole franchise on his back. Got booed. Got booed at home.
Yeah, and you got paid.
Got paid.
The thing is, man, it's one thing when you don't get paid and you're playing well. Once you get paid and you're considered that guy, you got to perform like that guy. And, there's been the whole conversation of whether he comes into the season in great shape and all the other things. And so that's all going to mount on him for a young player. But even though he's a young player, he's considered very seasoned because he played in a men's league,
right.
Back in his home country. So
right.
For him, he was ready when he came over to the NBA. But if I'm Dallas and this is happening, you got to be kicking yourself because you let Brunson. You could have had everything hunky-dory, but you let Brunson walk out that door. You didn't even give him an offer.
Yeah. Oof. Boy, oh boy. So the question is, how many years until he requests a trade to the Knicks?
Could be next season.
Okay. Something to keep an
Question
eye
is,
on.
does Brunson say, yo, when you come here, though, this is my team. Remember that.
Just remember, this is my team. That would be hilarious.
Just remember what I did while you were out.
Yeah.
All right. With Finney Smith and Tim Hardaway. Wait, I don't think Timmy did play in the playoffs, but with Finney, Spencer Dinwiddie. But you better remember what I did.
Bro. I mean, he's not sticking around there, man. He is not sticking around there. There's no way. Ain't no way.
You can't, man. You can't. I don't what's the future for Dallas? Because, until they don't even have a lot of control, to trade a pick to even get somebody right now because the Knicks still own that pick. Right?
Yeah.
So you can't even trade this year's pick because you don't even know if you're going to have it yet.
That's right.
Right? You have to wait until lottery happens, and you're probably better off drafting somebody, and then you can't trade next year's pick. Because if it doesn't convey this year, as you said, man, it's nice that it would be much better. I can't wait to the playoffs, man.
Yeah. Knicks
get the 5 seed. That's what I need to happen, man. Knicks get the 5 seed. Knicks are competing in the playoffs. Dallas just reeling. It'll be even greater. It'll be Christmas.
It would
Christmas
be.
in April.
It would be. But let's hope that the Knicks even get a first-round pick in this year, right? Remember, their own first-round pick belongs to the Blazers.
And you brought that up. Now that you brought that up, I got a question for you. If, let's say, the worst-case scenario happens, because we also got Wizards pick, and that doesn't look like it's going to convey.
Mm-hmm.
There's, the Chicago Bulls are starting to create separation right now against the Wizards. So it looks like Chicago will be in the 10th spot for the play-in. But you're not going to have the Wizards pick. You traded your pick. The last pick that you're really relying on is the Mavs pick. If you don't get the Mavs pick this season, how are you feeling? Because then you don't have any first rounders this year in what's considered to be a stacked draft.
Yeah. Disappointed. Definitely disappointing. But at the same time, it just seems like the immediate upgrade path for this team is going to be via trade anyway. And it's going to be a combination of young players and future picks. Yes, having our pick would help. But I'm just not all that sure where this team is right now that they're gonna be interested in developing somebody unless it's somebody that's ready to go from day one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not going into the draft and getting a Shadon Sharp type with where they are right now with the team. So it definitely would be disappointing. You like the hard acquisition. It's nice. Hopefully delivers in the playoffs. But hey, maybe that Mavs pick conveys next year if it doesn't this year.
Yeah, it's all about the talent this season. I don't know what the talent is for next season. I'm not a draft guru or anything like that.
Yeah.
As of right now, the Knicks pick is positioned according to Tankathon to be the 23rd pick. So I don't know who we would get the 23rd pick, but you'd have to believe that if you drafted someone around that range, and I don't know talent, I don't know everyone who's in this draft yet. I'm not in that mode yet. But if it's considered to be deep, and I'm thinking about 2 years ago when we got Grimes, McBride, and all of them, because that was considered another deep draft. Grimes didn't even get a start that year, and he wasn't even getting that many minutes. So I guess for me, I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be too upset because on this team with Tom Thibodeau, they probably wouldn't be getting that much playing time.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah. So, some food for thought, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP and Alex on the ones and twos, man. Knicks weekly episode 53, man. Shout out to the mods in the chat. CM, what's good? Shout out to everybody, man. JJ, what's good? Shout out to, if you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. We'll shout you guys out. Knicks back in action against the Houston Rockets. Then we'll have the Miami Heat. And then the game of the week. A potential NBA playoffs round one matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, good to see Knicks basketball back in action, man. A whole weekend off with no Knicks, man, is kind of weird.
Strange.
Yeah.
I would have said it would have been relaxing if it wasn't for my incident, but
yeah,
yeah. Sometimes you need it. This team definitely needed it, so I'll gladly take the 3 games off because I don't know if this team was ready. I don't know if Brunson would have been ready either to get back to action so soon, and we really need him. So
yeah, they need it.
Good to have a little layoff.
They need it, and then after this, it's every other day to the finish line.
Is it really every other day?
It is. Let's go back. This week is every other day. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And then next week is 3 games. Next week is sorry. So they have after Sunday against the Wizards, they'll be off Monday, Tuesday. So they'll have 2 games off. Then they go Wednesday, Friday, Sunday next week. Indiana, New Orleans, Indiana. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday is next week.
Okay.
So there we go.
Season moved by pretty quickly, bro.
Oh, man. Definitely did. Man. But, hey, where this team is at, there will be more games to be talked about. So that's a great thing.
Fact.
It's a great thing. You just hope that they can get there healthy and feeling good about themselves. Because you don't want to go into the playoffs on a losing streak. Soul searching and things like that. They want to go in on a high note. Wrap up the season well. Lock in your playoff spot. and take it from there.
Definitely.
Yeah. In other news, Daquan Jeffries, Al. The Knicks have signed Daquan Jeffries to a multi-year contract, according to Shams of The Athletic. Breaking news. Jeffries averages 21 points for the Westchester G League affiliate, completed 2 10-day deals with the New York Knicks. Do you care?
Knicks got to pay somebody, man.
Hey, gotta fill out the rotation somehow, man. No, look, he was. I got a chance to watch him in Summer League.
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good. He's definitely had some bright spots. Plays hard, works hard. Good for him. He got a contract in the league. Good for him.
Yep. Nah, absolutely. These guys work. It's a lot of effort, man. That's put into the G League to try to make it to an NBA roster. So good for him for doing it. I like some of the. He's a versatile player from what I saw in Summer League. Shown a little bit of that in the G League. I mean, wish the best for him. That's it.
Yeah. Simple and plain, man. Let's take a look at these matchups for next week, Al, and give me your record predictions. Knicks
again?
Yes, at home against the Rockets, at home against the Heat, at the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then home once again against the Washington Wizards. How do you see them doing?
Going 2-2 on the week.
Okay. All right. What are you thinking there?
I'm thinking Houston and Miami. I feel like they get their revenge against Miami. I feel like they will wake up for that one. Something scares me about Cleveland, man. The Cleveland's rolling right now. Cleveland is rolling. I am not going to look past that at all. Washington's a little funny, man. They're a funny team.
Yeah.
They can give us problems. So, no, I'm not too confident in Washington. I'm gonna go 2-2. I'd like to be surprised though.
I'm going 3-1.
Oh,
yeah. I'm going 3-1.
This man said you said 2.5 earlier, and I was 3. Nah, I'm gonna show you why I'm confident. Okay,
I'm going 3-1, man. I'm thinking a bounce back week. The floor general is back. I think Julius redeems himself this week. And I picked the Cavs game as the only loss.
Okay.
You win the home games, Rockets, Miami, and the Wizards. I think the Cavs one is a tough one, and I think they lose that one. 3-1.
I like it.
I'm going 3-1.
I like that.
What do you
Hopefully
guys
your
in the chat?
record occurs and mine doesn't.
Yes. What do you guys in the chat think about that, man? Leave us some comments. What is your record prediction? Now, lastly, as we get our outro music here going, as discussed, Al, we did cross the 60,000 subscriber mark just a couple weeks ago. We're actually creeping up on 61,000. Things have been rolling at warp speed here on KnicksFanTV. So we decided to give away an authentic Jalen Brunson jersey. And shout out to everyone who entered, man. 7,300 entries, Al.
Woo!
7,300 entries. That's correct. That is correct. And so, it's time to give it away, man. Who wants to win? Does anybody in the chat want to win this Jalen Brunson jersey? Let's see here. I'm pulling up my database. And hang on. Oh, let me close this. This thing went way out to the right side. What happened there? Okay. All right, let's pick a winner here. Okay. 7,300 entries. My database is going slow because it's trying to find a winner out of 7,300.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, man. It is a lot of people. But there can only be one winner. And that winner is, congratulations to Matt Vasquez. Matt Vasquez, man, you have won the Jalen Brunson authentic jersey, man. Shout out to Matt Vasquez. Salute to everyone who played. There will be more winners. There will be more opportunities to win. But there is only one Matt Vasquez, and he is going home with the Jalen Brunson authentic Knicks jersey. So shout out to Matt, man. Shout out to Matt.
Shout out to Matt for winning an authentic Jalen Brunson jersey. Let's go.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Captain Clutch jersey to put in
Captain
your
Clutch.
closet.
Captain
Or maybe
Clutch.
hopefully hang it.
Yeah. Hopefully, man. So shout out to Matt Vasquez. And yeah, man, great show, Al. Great show, everybody. Great show, all the mods. Back at it tomorrow, same time, same place for Knicks Postgame Live, man. Knicks versus Rockets. Let's see if they can bounce back. Let's see if they can bounce back, man. They need it. They need it. Remember that the show's available in audio podcast format, man. All the major podcast platforms, so no reason to miss it. And go to manscaped.com. Use promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. All right, man. I got to get some sleep, man. I'm out of here. I've been traveling all day. Came in from Austin. And yeah, it's time for me to regroup and recover and get back to action tomorrow, man. So, Al, great show. See you guys tomorrow, man.